Dear Libra, something amazing is on its way to you and even your mind can't imagine how big it's going to be. This reading is not a coincidence. You are guided here because the universe has aligned something breathtaking in your path, a lucky break, a divine moment where abundance, soul-level love, and miraculous timing come together and you're at the center of it all. Welcome to Zodiac Whisper Tarot. This is a deep and sacred horoscope reading created just for you, Libra. If you've felt a subtle shift in the air lately, like something is coming but you can't quite explain what, it's because you're right. Spirit is speaking, and today, I'm here to help you hear it clearly. Let me ask you, have you been craving a life that finally matches the love and effort you've given to others? Have you been praying for a sign that you're not alone in this long journey of hope and patience? If so, this moment is your answer. You're about to enter a season of divine alignment. A chapter where your inner desires start to take form in the outer world. And yes, it begins with what seems like a lucky break, but in truth, it's the outcome of your faith, your emotional labor, and your spiritual maturity finally meeting divine timing. Libra, you've planted seeds for years quietly, with grace, without applause. And now the soil of your life is rich with unseen blessings about to bloom. You may not know how close you are to breakthrough, but the energy surrounding you is undeniable, a financial shift, a soulmate connection, and a chance to begin again, this time from your power, not your pain. So take a deep breath. Let your shoulders relax. This is your space to receive. Before we begin, I want to take a moment to thank you for being here. Your presence, your likes, your comments, your subscriptions mean more than words can express. Every single interaction brings this community deeper into the light. You are not just a viewer, you are family. And your support allows me to continue bringing through messages that awaken, uplift, and transform. Trust me, Libra, you'll want to stay with me until the end of this reading because what the universe is revealing today is nothing short of extraordinary. What's about to unfold could shift your perspective, ignite your faith, and help you see why the delays were divine. Now I have to ask you something important. What energy brought you here today? Was it a dream? A number you kept seeing? A gut feeling you couldn't shake? Share it with me in the comments. And if you've been seeing the number 777 or any repeating signs, drop it below as confirmation. That's not a coincidence. That's your cosmic receipt. You didn't just stumble across this reading. You were called. You were guided. And you are ready to receive. Let's begin. Sometimes growth begins not with action, but with quiet recognition, that still, subtle knowing that you're no longer the same person you were. And Libra, you've been sensing it for a while now. It's as if your old life still fits. But just barely. Like wearing a coat that once kept you warm but now feels too tight, too faded, too heavy to carry into this next chapter. You may have noticed the days have begun to blur, not because life has slowed down, but because your soul is no longer stimulated by what once felt enough. The routines that used to ground you are now looping echoes. The connections you once cherished may feel thin, strained, or somehow lacking the depth your heart truly craves. That isn't failure, it's evolution. This phase is what we call the pre-dawn moment, in astrology and energy work, the final stretch before light begins to rise. It's not a breakdown, but a build-up of readiness. Mercury's presence in your 12th house signals a powerful invitation to review, release, and redefine. To step back from the noise and ask a bold, tender question. What would it look like to be truly alive in my own life again? You see, rebirth doesn't always announce itself with fire and fanfare. Sometimes, it starts with the quiet decision to no longer betray your inner voice. To no longer say yes to what dims your light. And even though no one may applaud this sacred decision, the universe always responds. This is where the star card comes in. In the tarot, the star emerges after the tower after things fall apart. It is the card of inspired renewal, of soulful clarity, of trusting the light even when you can't yet see it. It whispers not only of hope, but of creative direction, of inspiration that flows once you stop forcing and start aligning. So what does that look like in your everyday life? Sometimes it's as simple as reclaiming 5 minutes in the morning to check in with your dreams. Or asking yourself, what would make today feel like mine again? It might look like journaling one line of truth each night before bed. Or choosing to pause before saying yes out of habit. These are micro choices that rebuild the bridge between your present and your potential. And if you've been feeling behind, as if everyone else seems further ahead, know this: internal transformation is the foundation of all external breakthroughs. Without it, success feels hollow. But with it, your growth becomes sustainable, meaningful, and deeply satisfying. Now, if you've been moving through this quietly, know one, noticing how much you've shifted, how much you're letting go, take this moment to acknowledge yourself. You've already begun. And the clarity you've been asking for? It's not coming from outside you. It's rising within. There's a beautiful reminder I often return to when life feels uncertain. Divine timing rarely shows up when we expect it, but it always arrives when we're aligned with what's true. Even in a world full of distractions, you have the right to slow down, reflect, and reroute your energy into what actually matters. This chapter isn't about fixing who you were. It's about honoring who you're becoming. And Libra, you are becoming someone whose joy is no longer conditional. Whose vision is no longer borrowed. Someone who doesn't need to be told what they're worth, because now, you're beginning to feel it for yourself. Let that truth settle in. Let it guide your next step. You don't need all the answers right now, you just need to not ignore what's quietly awakening inside you. And if this part is resonating with you, don't keep it to yourself. Comment below with the word "ready" if you feel something in your life is starting to shift, and let's keep walking this path together. There are moments in life when something begins to shift, not loudly, but unmistakably. And Libra, if you've been sensing that change in the way you relate to money, stability, or your sense of personal worth, you're not imagining it. What's unfolding for you now is a sacred turning point, a phase where the seeds you once planted in silence are finally beginning to bear fruit. This isn't just about income or material gain. It's about financial energy finally aligning with the truth of who you are becoming. When the Ten of Pentacles and the King of Pentacles appear together, it's no small message. These cards speak of long-term wealth, generational security, and financial wisdom grounded in experience. But more than that, they tell a story about someone who has endured, who has learned through trial and error, and who is now ready not just to receive but to sustain abundance. You've done the inner work, and now the outer world is beginning to reflect that. True financial expansion doesn't come from chasing the next opportunity out of fear. It begins when you start believing that your needs will always be met and that you're worthy of overflow, not just survival. When you release the fear of lack, you make space for clarity. And with clarity comes direction. That's the energy you're stepping into now, not random luck, but conscious abundance. This is where the law of attraction becomes not just a theory, but a lived experience. When you begin to see the current state of your finances not as a fixed limitation, but as an evolving canvas, you step into your creative power. You're not just hoping things will improve. You're aligning with the frequency of someone who already holds abundance in their field. That subtle energetic shift opens doors. You start making smarter choices. You say no to what drains you and yes to what reflects your future. You attract people, ideas, and moments that match your newfound sense of value. In numerology, the appearance of 888 is no coincidence. It symbolizes infinite flow, karmic reward, and the rebalancing of effort and reward. When this number shows up, it's often a sign that something you've been waiting for financially is now ready to manifest, but only if you believe you're ready to receive it. Take this as a gentle invitation to clean up any lingering stories of not enough, and step forward with confidence. Sometimes, in the hustle of life, we forget that God, the loving intelligence of the universe, wants us to thrive, not just survive. Abundance isn't reserved for a chosen few. It responds to alignment, not entitlement. When you walk in integrity with your gifts and treat your time, money, and attention with respect, doors begin to open. I've seen this play out countless times, not just in charts or cards, but in real stories. A single decision to change the way someone sees money led to an unexpected job offer. A moment of gratitude for a small amount in the bank led to a random debt being cleared. These are not miracles for the few, they're the results of alignment, readiness, and surrender. You've earned the right to receive now, not later. You've shown patience when others gave up. You've stayed grounded when it would have been easier to escape. And because of that, this season of harvest belongs to you. It's not just a reward, it's a reflection of who you've become. Stay open. Stay wise. And most of all, stay faithful to the part of you that knew all along this moment would come. It's often in the quietest seasons of our lives that the most profound connections begin to form. Libra, by now you've likely felt the slow unraveling of what once seemed familiar and loved the subtle realization that no one quite touches your soul in the way you long for. But this is not a sign of emptiness, it's a signal that your energy has matured. You're no longer interested in fleeting attraction or surface-level connection. Your spirit is calling in something deeper, something divinely orchestrated. And whether you're single or in a relationship that feels like it's lost its spark, this moment marks a turning point. Energetically, your heart has been preparing for this for quite some time. The people, places, and situations that used to satisfy now feel too small for your current frequency. You've outgrown the patterns. You've evolved beyond the chase. What's arriving is not just someone new or something revived, it's a meeting at the soul level. When the lovers, justice, and the wheel of fortune appear together in a reading, we're not just talking about romance. We're talking about a karmic crossing, a point of destiny that brings two souls into sacred alignment not by chance, but by cosmic design. If you've been wondering why you've been placed in a holding space, why nothing quite clicks, it's because the timing hasn't been right until now. Sometimes, divine partnerships don't arrive when we're longing for them. They arrive when we're aligned for them. When you've done enough inner clearing to truly recognize what you deserve. When your heart is open without being desperate. When your energy is honest without being guarded. That's when the soul who has been searching for you finally finds their way. And if you're in a long-term relationship that's become stagnant, don't dismiss the possibility of resurrection. Sometimes all it takes is one honest conversation, one unexpected shared experience, or even one deeply vulnerable moment to reignite a connection that's been buried under routine. When we soften our defenses and lead with curiosity instead of assumptions, even relationships that feel stuck can come alive again. You might be surprised by what happens when you stop rehearsing your partner's answers and start listening for their truth. One of the most powerful practices you can adopt right now is creating stillness around your heart. Set aside time daily, not for scrolling, not for distraction, but for reflection. Sit in silence. Place your hand over your chest. Ask yourself gently, what kind of love do I want to give? And what kind of love am I ready to receive? Often, the universe cannot deliver what we're not emotionally available for. So this practice isn't about calling someone in, it's about clearing space to allow the right one to arrive. And sometimes, that clarity shows up in ways you never expect. It might be a person from your past showing up differently. Or a stranger whose energy feels instantly familiar. Or a friend who suddenly sees you with new eyes. Don't try to predict it. Just remain open. And if your heart is ready, truly ready, trust that something beautiful is already moving toward you. The universe doesn't miss what belongs to you. And neither will the person who's meant to hold your hand through the next season of your life. So be patient, but be present. Because when destiny delivers, it's often not loud, but it's always unmistakably real. If you feel this message resonating, comment below with aligned and let the universe know you're ready. Not all healing happens in hospitals or under bright lights. Sometimes, the greatest healing unfolds quietly, in the everyday ways we show up for the people we love. Libra, you've been carrying someone through a difficult season, not with grand gestures, but with steady presence, quiet prayers, and unspoken support. Whether they were facing emotional burnout, a physical illness, or a spiritual emptiness, you offered your energy without asking for anything in return. That's the kind of love that doesn't get posted or praised, but it's the kind that truly saves. What's powerful here is the way your energy became a sanctuary for someone else. It's not always easy to hold space for another person's pain, especially when your own needs have been pushed to the side. But you did. Not because you had to, but because something in you knew it was right. That kind of intuitive care, when given without expectation, creates ripple effects far beyond what we can see. And now, the universe is gently turning the wheel. That person is healing. And even if they haven't fully expressed it yet, they are deeply, quietly grateful for you. The appearance of the Four of Swords and the Six of Cups in this context speaks volumes. These are cards of recovery, memory, and emotional truth. They tell a story of someone coming back to themselves and realizing how much of their strength came from knowing they were never truly alone. These cards don't just suggest healing, they reflect the tenderness of being remembered and appreciated. Sometimes the most transformative relationships are not built during times of joy, but during hardship. And you've been someone's anchor when their world felt unsteady. But there's something else important here, Libra. You've given so much of yourself to others, but now, you're being asked to give that same gentleness to yourself. It's time to rest, to recharge, and to let yourself receive. Being the strong one can be exhausting when it becomes a role instead of a rhythm. So allow yourself to step out of the role for a moment. Let others care for you. Let life return to you some of the grace you've poured out. You don't have to hold everything together to be worthy of support. This is also a beautiful moment to explore the idea of reverse gratitude. We're often taught to give thanks for what we receive, but healing begins when we also learn to accept appreciation, to let others express how much we've impacted them. Letting yourself be acknowledged is not weakness, it's how emotional cycles find closure. If you've ever struggled to receive love as easily as you give it, this is your time to soften into that exchange. There's a quiet kind of faith in continuing to love even when no one's watching. It's the kind of faith that shapes miracles not in the sky, but in the soul. Real transformation rarely looks dramatic. Often, it looks like someone getting out of bed again after weeks of silence. It looks like a smile returning where there was once only distance. It looks like a thank you spoken years after the fact. But it begins with love given freely. You were never invisible in your kindness. The universe noticed. More importantly, the person you helped noticed, even if they're only now finding the words to say it. And when they do, let their gratitude be a mirror. Not to boost your pride, but to remind you that your presence mattered more than you know. If you're feeling this message in your heart, take a moment to acknowledge your own worth. And if you're open to receiving the love you've given, comment below with the word worthy. Let it be your way of saying yes to the healing coming full circle. Decisions involving money can often feel heavy, especially when they carry the weight of permanence: buying a home, changing where you live, investing in a business, or putting down roots in a way that says, I'm building something real. But Libra, what's becoming clear now is that you're no longer acting from fear or impulse. You're making choices from a place of calm clarity, and that changes everything. You're not just spendingiery investing. You're not reacting to lacury, responding to purpose. This stage of your journey is about conscious creation. It's the moment when you take the energy you've cultivated internally, your values, your vision, your priorities, and translate them into tangible form. And yes, it might feel big. It might feel risky. But the truth is, this is what alignment looks like when it becomes action. You've been visualizing the life you want. Now, you're stepping into the responsibility of building it, one thoughtful move at a time. The presence of the Temperance card alongside the Ace of Pentacles is powerful here. Together, they speak of balance and blessing, of choosing the path that might take time but ultimately leads to long-term growth and security. This is not about rushing toward quick wins or chasing what glitters. It's about grounding your next move in wisdom and patience. When you're building something that's meant to last, slow is powerful. Slow is smart. Slow is sacred. Now is also the time to redefine what stability means to you. It may no longer be about just having enough. It might now include peace of mind, spaciousness, and time to enjoy what you've worked for. If you're making a big financial move, remember that abundance isn't just about acquiring, it's also about sustaining. It's about feeling safe in what you've built and knowing that your resources are supporting your values, not just your bills. Practical steps are your allies here. Setting up a peace fund, even if it's small, sends a message to your nervous system that you're safe, supported, and in control. It's not about the size of the fund, it's about the symbolism of it. Giving yourself breathing room creates space for better decisions, fewer regrets, and more freedom to say yes when true opportunities arise. Budgeting isn't restriction, it's intention. When you break down your finances into mindful categories, like 60% for living, 20% for investing, and 20% for spiritual or emotional savings, you're no longer just surviving. You're stewarding your energy. You're saying, I trust myself to handle what I've been given. And let's not forget the energy you bring to your money. One of the simplest but most powerful practices is gratitude. Each morning, take a moment to look at your bank account not with fear or criticism, but with appreciation. Say softly, thank you for this amount and thank you for what's coming. That single habit shifts your relationship with abundance. It moves you from control to co-creation. There are real-world stories of people who changed their entire financial reality not because they suddenly earned more, but because they began treating money with respect, gratitude, and boundaries. When you approach money like a sacred resource, an extension of your values and your time, you attract more of it. Not because you're lucky, but because you're energetically ready to receive and manage it. Libra, you are ready to make decisions that reflect who you've become, not who you used to be afraid you were. Trust that the steps you're about to take are not taking from you, they're rebuilding something for you. Something lasting. Something real. If you feel aligned with this message, comment "steady" below, and let it be your affirmation that you're moving forward with clarity and purpose. So Libra, here we are. You've traveled with me through every layer of this message, through the stillness of inner rebirth, the clarity of financial expansion, the divine unfolding of soul-aligned love, the deep healing of the relationships around you, and the empowered decisions that will shape your next chapter. And now, something in you feels different, doesn't it? Not louder. Not heavier. Just clearer. Grounded. More yours. You are not who you were at the beginning of this video. And you won't be who you are now by the time this transformation finishes unfolding. That is the beauty of aligned timing, nothing forced, nothing rushed. Just you, showing up, listening, feeling, and beginning to say yes to the version of life that actually fits the person you've become. If there's one thing I want you to walk away with, it's this: you are not stuck. You are not lost. You are not late. You are right on time for the life that's being prepared for you. And this life doesn't belong to some future version of you who has it all figured out. It belongs to you, right now, just as you are, with your heart open, your hands willing, and your energy aligning in ways you may not even see yet. But maybe you've felt those nudges, those quiet moments of inner knowing. Maybe there's something in your life right now that's ready for release. Maybe there's something you know you're ready to claim. Maybe both. Whatever it is, this is your invitation to lean in. To stop waiting for permission. To stop shrinking your light to make others more comfortable. To stop putting your name last on your own list. So I ask you this, Libra, what are you no longer willing to carry into this next version of yourself? And what small action can you take today that reflects who you are becoming, not who you've been taught to be? Let this be your reminder that real change rarely begins with big gestures. It begins with small, honest shifts: how you speak to yourself, what you allow, what you envision before you sleep, what you celebrate when no one else is watching. You have more power than you realize, not because you've conquered everything, but because you're willing to begin again with awareness. And if this message touched something in your spirit, if you felt seen, understood, or guided, then don't keep that energy to yourself. Comment below with the word "awakened" to let me and the universe know that you're open and ready. What part of this reading spoke most deeply to you? What decision are you walking away ready to make? Thank you for allowing me to share this sacred space with you. Your presence, your energy, your trust, it means more than you know. Every like, every comment, every subscription helps keep this community alive and expanding. It allows me to continue sharing these divine messages and creating a space where souls like yours feel heard and held. If you haven't already, I invite you to gently tap that like button, subscribe to Zodiac Whisper Tarot, and turn on the notification bell because there is so much more waiting to unfold for you, and I want you to be here for every step of it. You belong here. This is your time. And something beautiful is already on its way to you.